we're going to talk about business and information systems. So to start off with, we're going to do a little background. Make sure you always read and review the objectives. Let's talk about levels of business management, and these aren't by any means exactly how businesses operate, but at least it gives us some realm of reference when we're talking about these items in the course. So I'm going to draw a pyramid here. And then we're going to draw in some levels. Okay, so we have first line supervisors, then we have maybe middle management, and then top management. Okay? This part is bigger with the intention there's probably more first line supervisors than there are middle management. And in fact, nowadays people say middle management has been shrinking because of technology. We'll talk about that in the future. And then we have the top level management. Okay, not very many people. You got the president, vice president of a company, and you know, here at the college we have the president and then all the VPs, like 5 or 6 of them. That would be top level. All the business chairs and a lot of other department chairs would be here in the middle, and then all of the number of other people would be the first line supervisors. Below here is what I'm going to refer to, for lack of a better term, the workforce. Okay? And in the college, that's where I would be. I'd be somewhere in here. Maybe even down here. I'm not sure. But anyway, the workforce don't oversee anybody. You know, you could take a store like Walmart, okay? There's a CEO and a CIO and all that in a big corporation. Then there's a group of people in the middle, maybe a few or a lot. And then there's lots of department heads at a store. Maybe middle management would be a manager of a store. And then you have all these people, the person in charge of the electronics department, or the person in charge of a certain area of the grocery, or the person in charge. So those first line supervisors oversee everybody that's working there. Information. Okay, should we go to that next? Yeah, it's right here. Within a business. So we're gonna split that into 3 parts. Okay? And we'll draw some lines there. Within a business, there's all kinds of transactions that take place. Okay? Walmart, somebody comes and buys something. Okay? They get a shipment in, they do inventory, and so forth. So we have this whole transaction system in a business. You come to the college, you register for a class. You pay your money, and you get your schedule. Okay? Tactical, okay, are the things that happen weekly or monthly within a business. A lot of managers, okay, I'm just going to go management. A lot of managers deal with technical things. Somebody calls in, they're sick, they can't work, okay. So you have tactics, things that happen. Strategic, long-term planning, okay, long-term planning. This is where, you know, for a company, a CEO, top-level management, and so forth would deal with that. So you can start to see that this pyramid down here starts to mimic a little bit our pyramid of management. Now let's clarify that a little bit further. One more thing with this pyramid down here, looks like an upside down snow cone. Guess what's down here? Yeah, you probably guessed it. Maybe not. Data. Okay? We have huge amounts of data stored in database management systems, which we learn about towards the end of the course. I mean, this could feasibly be huge. So we have all this data. And here's what happens. There's a transaction. The transaction adjusts the data. You come and register at the college. The data is adjusted, so a transaction takes place. Okay? The president of the college wants to know Does he want to know exactly everything that's going on down here? Probably not. What he wants is just out of this, how does the enrollment now compare with the enrollment last year at this time? So he wants a small chunk of information. Okay? So he just wants a small chunk. So from this data, we use software to convert that data into the information somebody needs. It just happens that there's probably a lot less up here needed compared to this level, compared to all the information that's needed to just really do the transactions and run the company. Okay? So we have a pyramid representing that. So if we were to tie some of this together, a lot of this information goes to a small piece of people here. Okay, not much information to them, but it's typically like a summary, or it's been aggregated into a specific, info, a specific piece of information. Okay. Middle management, a lot of times they'll be dealing with tactical things week in, week out. Another thing about this up here, long-term planning, right? What's the company going to do in 5 years? We still going to be selling blue jeans with designs on the bumski in 5 years? I don't know. Okay. And this is day in and day out. Okay. First line supervisors are worrying about the transactions taking place, or the tills bouncing, and so forth and so forth. So, moving ahead, what's going to happen is we're going to talk about levels of management. Down here's the workforce, and this could be divided up all different ways between how companies work, and most places have some type of levels of information: transaction, tactical, and then strategic information that's used by, not exactly, but these levels down here. And here sits that database management system. And so we need to move through the correct information. It's sometimes called the management information system. We'll talk more about that later on, to help us make decisions. So out of this, for example, out of this database, or the database doesn't necessarily have to be internal. Sometimes they gather information from outside of a normal company in order to make decisions. And we'll talk more about that later on. That's it for this one.